Okay, boss. Assume still we are on July 1st only, no July 2nd. Okay. So I already have this data in ECC. I have formulated my movements, right? This is what we have. You understand this? D indicating delta, H indicating history, and I indicate initialization. Initialization is the day when you are initializing it to BW. So what I'll do, I'll create a generic extractor and map. This is not the process how they do in the real time. This is all I'm customizing things. Then I'll say what is a real time example. Why inventory is my data source. Any data source I can put it anything, MM or something. This is a table I'm building extractor on. I'm not going with delta normally. Done. Okay, my data source is created. Okay, first now let me go and replicate this in BW. How do you do? Do you get this? Data sources. So I'm going to go to change. See, there is a checkbox here, opening balance. If you're using a data source for loading initial stock, means the day when you became in charge and you're trying to count, if you want to use the data source for loading initial stock, this must be enabled. That's not enabled, right? So how do I enable this? I'll go to R3. Okay. All the data source details are maintained in which table? The data source will have a property here. There will be a field called stock update. If this is being set to yes, then the opening balance will be enabled also. So in IECC what I'm doing is normally if it is okay. I am setting up the stock update flag as yes. Then let's refresh the changes. So how will I do this? It will replicate good touch. I can right click and say what? Replicate method. Right click and say what? Change. Now do you see the checkbox enabled? When you update the property stock update, you see the checkbox enabled. I'm okay, extraction and the fields activate. My data source is ready, boss. And I have not yet created my info objects yet. So I would like to create my info objects. Okay, boss. I'm creating info for material. Okay. What's it? Y MNO. It's a char, and what was the length we gave? 5. item number is fine. ఇది మ్యూట్ చేస్తే మీకు రికార్డింగ్ అవ్వద్దు కదా, బయట వాయిస్ బయటకు రాదంత. యా ఓకే. ఏం అది ఇక్కడ సౌండ్ వస్తుంది అందుకు ఆపిన అంత. ప్లాంట్ ఓకే. Carol 5 length and outs active. Okay, for date I'll use cal day, and then I need a key figure for stock. I know my source would give me inflow outflow. Say yesterday my inflow was 10, today my inflow was 20. What is my total inflow? 120. Yeah? So I'm inflow will be is a cumulative and outflow is also cumulative, but based on these two you'll be deriving something called stock, which is non-cumulative. That's the concept. Yeah? So right click, I'll say what? Create info bit, yn inflow stock. What is it? Quantity 0 unit. It is set as summation. So is it like normal cumulative key figure inflow, and then yn again quantity. So now I need next. Okay, these are normal Q inflow outflow. Then I want one more key figure called what? Stock. Based on the inflow outflow, it has to derive my stock. My source is giving you inflow or outflow. Based on those two, you must derive what? Stock actually. Okay. Yn stock. Oh, sorry, what type is this? Quantity. And I want to reference this to what? 0 unit. Okay, now it's fine. Then aggregation. Now look at this here. Do you want this as a cumulative key figure or non-cumulative? Stock. Like yesterday my stock is 100, today is 200. So what is my stock? 200. So non-cumulative. So and next, once you decide about non-cumulative, for this key figure, do you get the value straight away from the source, or it is giving you inflow and outflow, and based on that too you must derive? So I'll say where inflow should add up, outflow should deduct. I'll say non-cumulative value with in and outflow. So what are the value you pass on to this key figure, it will add up, and what are the value you pass on to the outflow will deduct this. But in the transformations you will never load stock. You will be loading only inflow, you will be loading only outflow. These two will determine stocks. Okay. Sorry sir, you decide about this. Now once based on the inflow and outflow the stock is being derived, calculated. Let's say every day you'll have some inflows, outflows, and you'll have stocks for every day. Now when I say yesterday my stock is 100, today my stock is 200, what is my stock? 200. We pick latest value, right? So what should be aggregation here? Last value. And say what? Activate. Done. So by using these two I'm going to create my cube. Okay, the characteristics what you want is what? Yn and I wanted a time characteristic is what? Key figure నాకు అవన్నీ వద్దు. Now I want stock in my queue actually. But look at this. It does bring in inflow outflow automatically because I wanted stock, but stock needs inflow and outflow. And that's it. I'm going to activate my queue. But before activating, వాళ్ళకు ఒక vocabulary ఉంటుందన్న. When you use non-cumulative key figure into a cube, we call that cube as non-cumulative cube. Now tell me, is this a non-cumulative cube or not? Yes, why? Because I'm using non-cumulative keywords into it. So whenever you're working out with the non-cumulative cube, you must specify this extras menu, maintain non-cumulative values ఉంటుందన్నమాట. What is this characteristic for valid table? నేను చెప్తాను మళ్ళీ valid table ఏందని. But I have set what is selected here. I'm okay. I'm not changing anything else. Okay. దాని ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అర్థం అవుద్ది. Okay. Now let me create a cube. Normally when you activate a cube, what table should it create? Fact table, dimension table, right? If it is a non-cumulative cube, apart from fact table and dimension tables, it creates one more table called validity table, not created. Fact table F, dimension table D, for validity table L. Okay, I can show you that. Activate. F, okay, and dimensions, okay. చూపిస్తా L యాడ్ వస్తుందో. Is my cube ready? And I would like to see the tables created. /BIC/ star BIC underscore C0. F is okay, it's fact table. E actually now we're going to use the concept of compression. I know you don't know the topic, but still just understand cube will have two fact tables actually, F and E. And when you load the data, it goes into F. When the compression is done, it goes into E table. Actually, that's how it works. I have not opened up the concept of compression. That will come in performance tuning. But now, just assume you load data to cube, it goes into F table. After compression, it goes into E table. There will be two fact tables, F and E actually. And L is nothing. What is? This is valid table. So it creates valid table also. Okay. My cube is been defined, and I would like to load. I already have a data source. Yes. Let me take the data source. Create transformations. Okay. Cal day is mapped to date. Plant to what? Plant. Metal number to what? Metal number. Inflow outflow. But my source doesn't have inflow outflow. It has got only quantity. Now should I map this quantity to inflow or quantity to outflow? Both. Both. See, in the transformation, I cannot feed stock. I can only feed inflow, outflow. Based on those two, it will derive stock. Inflow will add up to my stock, outflow will deduct my stock. But my source has got quantity. Okay, but how do you know whether this quantity is inflow or outflow? Depending on based on movement time. Yeah. So based on movement type, we'll understand what type of quantity, whether it is inflow or not. So can I write routine here? So I'll go to inflow, rule details, add fields what? Movement type and quantity. I'll take both. Okay. Drop down, say what? Routine. What is routine? If what did we use? We use 101. That is inflow, right? Yeah, good. I'm writing code for inflow only. So then quantity should go for this. Only when the inflow is 101, it has to feed my quantity as inflow. Same thing, I will write logic for outflow. But you understand logically, the inflow value will add to my stock. Outflow value will deduct my stock. Okay. ఇంకోటి కూడా నాకేం కావాలంటే ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ ద టేబుల్ ఫర్ మై ఇన్ఫ్లో స్టాక్ మూమెంట్ టైప్ ఏముంది బస్ బ్లాంక్. Now what will happen to this stock? Will it go to inflow? Will it go to outflow? Nowhere. But when you loading inflow stock, what does it mean? Stock in tundi and so should I send that through inflow or outflow? What are the instance means you're counting and keeping it ready with saying this stock is a what? So should I send this inflow stock through inflow to add up to my stock, or I should send through outflow to deduct my stock? First I'll be loading initialize. I'll initialize the stock. Ante you've been in charge now. On this day, what is my stock? I'm going to load. You're going to count, right? Same, I'm going to load it to BW. That I should add up to my stock, right? So I must send that through what inflow. So if this is a routine, if this is blank, also it should take to what inflow and rasa would okay, right? So shall I change a little bit here just to accommodate my scenario? Only for my scenario, real time it lame undu, okay? Movement type is equal to this, or so what are the data I'm going to load with initializing stock? On the day when I start loading it to BW, I'm going to add up to my stock, okay? Now let me run the info package. I'm not using any selections. Will it bring all those records? What is error message? Job terminated system request set to red. Why? Job enduko fair ayindantappa. Okay, I've got those 9 records down. Okay, now I would like to load the initial stock first. Always initial stock, then init load. Okay, I'll tell you. Right click, say what? Create data transfer. Initial stock loading, nothing but in the real time it will be what? DX. So when you're loading initial stock, okay, you will have this option. What is update mode? Initial non-cumulative for non-cumulative values here. Okay. And moreover, if I just leave it, will it take all the 9 records from the PSA? No, that is not what I want. Actually, what for initially it should load only with I. So I'll say record type we are performing this DTP for initializing the stock అంటే స్టాక్ అని లెక్కేసుకున్నట్టు అన్నట్టు. And once that is, and every time you use a non-cumulative cube, you must compress the అంటే mandatory గా చెప్తే ఎందుకు it is inventory ఉందన్నా. You load this one record, right? We're going to compress that cube, but first let's look at the data. For now, you understand compression will not do anything for you. Compression will only do what ante, if you find multiple records with same characteristic combinations, it will aggregate ante. Compression gain cheyadu, okay? And you see a record in this? Let me compress. What is 5318 53 itla just go to collapse tab, select the request 5318 and say what compress. Here the checkbox here, no marker update, very very important. Sorry here now what are counted, the yellow one is what I referred as, I keep updating it marker. When you load initial stock, when you first count it as 105, you want that as, set that as marker, right? If you want marker, then look what checkbox name is. What is this? No marker update ante. If you don't want marker, select that checkbox. Now do you want marker or not?
Yes.
Do you want set that as an yellow mark? Yes. Then I'll say without selecting this, I'll say no marker mark. If you don't want marker, select the checkbox. Now I want marker, so I'm not selecting it. Okay. You still data కనపడదు, but I want to show you that. ఏం పాయింట్ అంటే, వాట్ ఆర్ ద డేటా యూ లోడ్ విత్ ఇన్షియల్ స్టాక్, ఇట్ విల్ మెయింటైన్ ద రికార్డ్ విత్ డేట్ 31/12/9999. ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది. ఎట్లా పోవాలన్నా రిమోట్ సిస్టమ్కి, మనకి రిమోట్ సిస్టమ్ ఎనేబుల్ కాదు. You take me, actually కనపడదు అది, బట్ యూ షుడ్ టేక్ దట్, ఇట్ విల్ హోల్డ్ ద డేటా లైక్ దిస్. M1, okay, T1, what is it? Date will be 31/12/9999. If I see in database level, I can see. నాకు database అంటే సర్వర్కి పోవాలా, 31/12/9999. And what is my stock? 105. And it will be marked as what? Marker. If I run the report saying give me stock now, what is it? BICC03, right? నీకు క్యూలో ఏమైనా కనిపించింది రిక్వెస్ట్, బట్ రిపోర్ట్లో మాత్రం డేటా వస్తుంటుంది. What is it? I never loaded total stock, but in the reporting it will configure the calculate values for this total stock from what? From inflow and outflow. Okay, if you see the date, you will understand. But don't worry, in the cube it will have like 31 12 9 right? Okay, I'll tell you what is next. Okay, next I would like okay, but if I run the report now, I can only get what is stock as of July 1st today. But I would like to even see, sometimes I might run report, I want to see data for historical date also. March the April I want to see before dates. In that case, do I need to load historical movements also? I need to load historical movements only if my users have to see reports for historical dates. Otherwise, I don't need the data. So I'm loading it. I already have that in the data source. Okay. This is like BF init load. What is that? BF init load. I'll say normal. What is that? Normal full, but I want to load historical data only, so I'll use a selection as what? H, only history records. Okay, active. So your load, this is like BF data source used as init load, which will be loading historical transactions. Now I would like to compress my request. Normal for non-coded queue, every time you load, it will be compressing a table records and kalupta. If it finds multiple records with same characteristic combination, it groups them. If I compress this, so it is going to bring some stock. These are my historical stocks, right? Now, do you want this historical record stocks to go and update my this stock? Yes or no? What are the historical transactions you loaded? Do you want those to go and update my 105 stock or no? Why no? అదే ఇన్స్టెంట్ స్టాక్ ఉంది సార్, ఎందుకు చేయకూడదు అంటే దాని ద్వారా అది because the initial stock was generated or calculated based on the historical transactions. If historical transactions go and update my marker again, it becomes stock will become double. కాకూడదు. అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం? Collapse 538. What is my request? 538 I want to compress. I don't want this to update my marker, so I'll select no marker update. I don't want this to go and update my stock again, so I'll say no marker update. Say what? Release. You will see movements in the queue. Queue lo movements కనిపిస్తాయి. See, you will see movements normally. 120 as inflow, 40, 10 as outflow. Correct తీసుకుందా? Right. Inflow stock నీకు కనపడదు అంతే. ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు అది రావడం వల్ల ఏంది? కెన్ ఐ సీ ది హిస్టారికల్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఆల్సో? అలా చూడు. ఇప్పుడు కూడా స్టాక్ ఎంత జస్ట్ స్టాక్ ఎంత ఉందో అంటే ఇప్పుడు కూడా ఎంత ఇస్తుంది? స్టిల్ ఇట్ గివింగ్ 105. నాకు హిస్టారికల్ డేట్కి వస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు క్యాలెండర్ పెడితే మొత్తం హిస్టారికల్ డేట్స్ అన్నిటిది వస్తుంది. జనవరి 1st నుంచి 100 ఉంది. అర్థమైందన్నా? మళ్ళీ ఎప్పుడు మారింది అది? ఓన్లీ డ్యూరింగ్ మంత్ ఆఫ్ ఫెబ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ చేంజ్ టు వాట్ 120. మళ్ళీ మార్చ్, ఎందుకంటే దర్ ఇస్ ఓన్లీ మూవ్మెంట్ ఆన్ ద ఫస్ట్ టైం. మళ్ళీ మార్చ్ 1st మళ్ళీ ఇట్ బికమ్ వాట్ 150. మళ్ళీ ఏప్రిల్లో దర్ వాజ్ అన్ అవుట్ ఫ్లో, రైట్? అగైన్ ఏప్రిల్ ఇట్ బికేమ్ వాట్ 110. అట్లా లైక్ దిస్ యూ కెన్ సీ. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇఫ్ ఐ గివ్ వేరియబుల్ ఆన్ క్యాలెండర్, నువ్వు ఏ డేట్ ఇస్తే ఆ డేట్ సంబంధించి స్టాక్ చూపిస్తుందా కరెక్ట్గా, రైట్? Next, I would like to load my delta historical. I have got movements in August and September. Yeah. This is like BF delta load. It will bring some delta movements after after you have initialized on July. What are the transactions are done with the delta load of BF will be historical. Delta movements. Full. two records, one is of August and one is of September. July initialization, July and July. Now should I compress my cube again? What? Go to collapse 5383. Now should I select the checkbox or no? Why no? Logical. If I don't select the checkbox, no marker update means it will update the marker. Since I have loaded delta movements, these have not yet affected my initial stock. I want these to go and affect my initial stock. So I will update my marker. When you update marker, it will update my initial stock. మన డెల్టా మూమెంట్స్ ఏముంది, ఇన్ఫ్లో ఆఫ్ 5, అవుట్ఫ్లో ఆఫ్ 50. సో అప్పుడు ఏం కావాలి, అప్పుడు 105లో 55 పోతే, సో ఇది స్టాక్ మంది. యాక్చువల్లీ మార్కర్ వాల్యూ ఏంది మరి, వి సెడ్ మార్కర్ వాల్యూ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి వాట్ 60 అల్టిమేట్లీ బై ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ఆగస్ట్. అవునా కదా బస్? ప్లస్ 5 మైనస్ 50 40 110 కదా. బై హియర్ ఇట్ వాస్ 105 110 మైనస్ 50 అగైన్ 60. Released, yeah. At least now we'll see that. You see, where is 8 and August and what September? We still see the movements have come in, but you're not seeing that marker value. What would happen now? Local inside this one record with 311299 is updated to what now? I pattern. Because of that, so if I run my report which says show me just the stock, if I just ask what is my stock, current stock value is equal to what? Marker value plus uncompressed request. There is no request which is not compressed. What is my marker value? 60. 60 plus 0, 60. Okay. Artham the point. Yeah. So I put my cal day. And I would like to see, I'm asking, I'll filter on certain date. Mandinanta year between 2015 between. I'll ask it to see data. Okay. I'll say August 20th. Antena? I say August 15th, I would like to see. Now you tell me what is my stock on August 15th. It takes marker value of 60 and reduce all the movements which are performed after 15th August, which is what? 50. Minus 50. See, this was 1st August. I am asking date stock on 15th August. So what is the movement after 15th? Outflow of 50. So 60 minus, sorry. Yeah, minus of minus 50. One time. Okay. One more point. Let's say I remove these filters. Okay. Actually started loading from 1st of Jan 2015. It shows 1 day back. Okay. But if you see ultimately till what date it is showing? Till what date it is showing? 2015 0901 September 1st. Last movement load ever. Why? Why does it show stocks only for these date ranges from January 1st to September 1st? Because I have loaded data only for September 1st. Okay. So what it is doing? It will have something called validity table, which will be maintaining saying it is valid from this date to this date. Because my stock of 60 is valid only till September 1st only. But what is my stock on September 2nd? I don't know, because there is no movement set. I cannot guarantee that. Kada? That's where if you see, I told you there will be one more table. What is it? If you go, don't worry about 0. just look at only the record, because your OLAP engine, BW query engine, will only refer to the record from the value table which is of -1. What it say? 2015 01 to what? September 2009. But let's say I just want to show you this. Actually, this is picking from here. So what I'm trying to do? ఇట్లా చేయకూడదు, మీకు చూపి చెక్ చేస్తున్నా అంతే. ఓకే, ఏం చేసిన? ఫర్ -1 record I've set the valid till September 15th. Does it say my validity is till September 15th now? That is validity table. Okay, Nanda? So, and ఎందుకంటే let's say in the business, when you deal with a lot of products, some product gets expired in 1 year and new product starts. So every product will have its own validity tables. If you look at my validity table, does it matter only cal day? Ante from this date to this date it is valid. But I have not made it which material what, because I know I was loading my queue with only one material, one plant, so I did not involve them. Suppose if I wanted my valid table to maintain, say for this material, this date to this date it is valid, or for in this plant, in this material, this is the validity range. Then I'll say, you remember while creating queue I said maintain non-cumulative values, the cal day was selected, then I would have selected material and plant also. Then my valid table will maintain plant, material, date validation, dates saying validity is this. ఈ ప్లాంట్లో ఈ మెటల్కి ఈ డేట్ నుంచి వ్యాలిడిటీ ఉందని అట్లా పెట్టుకుంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు I never maintain metal and plant, so it says it's assume every metal is only valid for this data range. But if I want to maintain the validity of each product for different data range, then I'll say I'll maintain non-cumulative values for metal, plant and cal day. అట్లా అర్థమైందా బాస్? క్లియర్? యాక్చువల్గా ఇఫ్ ఐ అంటే వాళ్ళకి హనాల్లో ఐ వాజ్ షోయింగ్ అంటే what are the marker you feeling this getting updated. We can see a database because I log into database and see the fact table, so I can see that values. మన అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్లో మనకి ఎంఎస్ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ సర్వర్ ఉంది, అక్కడికి పోతే మనం ఇప్పుడు ఇఫ్ యూ గో టు దట్ సర్వర్ సిస్టమ్ స్టేటస్ ఏంది డేటాబేస్, దాంట్లో you'll have a schema called B74. ఆ స్కీమాలోకి వెళ్ళి ఇఫ్ యూ క్యాచ్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ ద టేబుల్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ యూ విల్ సీ దట్ 31129999 కనిపిస్తుంది. అర్థమైందా? సో డిడ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ అబౌట్ ఇన్ఫిల్ స్టాక్ అండ్ హిస్టారిక్ మూవ్మెంట్స్ అండ్ డెల్టా మూవ్మెంట్స్? ద మెయిన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ కంప్రెసింగ్ ద క్యూ విత్ వాట్ మార్కర్. Compression will actually group those records. While grouping, do you want to update the marker or not? That's the point. So you'll have a checkbox called no marker update. If you select the checkbox, it does not update marker. If you don't select, it is like updating marker. That's the point. And when you load infill stock and when you load delta movements, you'll update marker. But when you're loading historical transactions, you will not update the marker because the infill stock is actually result of the historical. This is the concept. Do you understand this? Okay, good. Any doubts? No, you can ask me any doubt.
Sir, September తర్వాత ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అయ్యాయి సార్, దాన్ని మనం కంప్రెస్ చేయలేదు, రిపోర్టింగ్లో అవి కూడా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తాం.
నీకు అదొక డౌట్, అది కూడా అయిపోకూడదు. ఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్ మీ సెప్టెంబర్ 20th ఏం కావాలి? 160 ఉంది, 102 నుంచి మనం ఏదన్నా 5 దొబ్బుదాం బయటికి. ఓకే, లెట్ మీ ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ దిస్ డెల్టా రికార్డ్ ఇంటు దట్. Why I'm doing that? I just want to extract only that movement. Then what I'll do? I'll have to load my delta with. Is it like delta load or init or initial stock again? Delta loads. Like this, every day you'll be loading my movements. In the next వచ్చింది అది పైన డి సెలెక్షన్ ఉంది కదా సార్. Did I compress it? I'm not compressed it. So if I'll go to my report and I'll have to refresh it. If I remove date, it means I'm asking it to show me current stock value. If I bring in date, I'm asking it to show stock as of date. Ante kada meaning. I'm going to remove date. What will be current stock value? What is CSV? Current stock value. Yeah. What is the formula I gave you? Current stock value is equal to what? Marker value plus stock of the uncompressed request also. What is your marker value? 60. Plus what is the stock of uncompressed request? I just loaded a request which is not compressed. Minus 5. So 60 plus of minus 5 will give you what? 50. 50. So current stock value is equal to marker value plus uncompressed request. 55 వస్తుంది మరి కంప్రెషన్ ఎందుకు చేయాలని నువ్వు క్వశ్చన్ అడిగి స్లో అవుతుంది. If I don't compress, what does it do? It will take the marker till where it is copied, take that and adds all the movements which are uncompressed. Will it take some time? Performance down. If a compress is not mandatory in my inventory to update marker mandatory కాదన్నా. మార్కర్ లేకుండా స్టాక్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ అవుతుంది. వై? కరెంట్ స్టాక్ వాల్యూ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు వాట్? దెన్ మార్కర్ విల్ బి జీరో. యూ నాట్ కంప్రెస్డ్ ఎనీథింగ్. ఇట్ కన్సిడర్ ఆల్ అన్కంప్రెస్డ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఇన్ఫ్లో మైనస్ అవుట్ఫ్లో విల్ బి స్టాక్. ఓకే. But at the runtime of the query, when it has to add up entire inflow, entire outflow, then giving balance will take a lot of time. So to speed up, I'm going to update compress it and update the marker and keep it ready. So when I ask my current stock value, straight away it gets the marker value and then shows it to me. అసలు BX డేటా లోడ్ చేయకుండా కూడా నేను రిపోర్ట్ పీకొచ్చు మీకు అర్థమైందన్న చూపిస్తాను. ఇది అర్థమైంది కదా పాయింట్. మొత్తం డిలీట్ చేసిన చూడండి, మొత్తం డిలీట్ చేసిన. అసలు ఐఎమ్ నాట్ లోడింగ్ ఇన్షియలైజేషన్ యూనిట్. మనం లెక్కేసుకుని నువ్వు అన్నావు నిన్న, నేనేమో పోయి లోపల లెక్కేసుకుంటాను. నేను లెక్కేసుకున్నప్పుడు మొత్తం హిస్టారికల్ డేటా బట్టి తెలిసిపోతుంది. నేను సో ఐఎమ్ నాట్ లోడింగ్ BX నౌ. స్ట్రేట్ ఐఎమ్ డూయింగ్ వాట్? యూనిట్ లోడ్ ఆఫ్ వాట్? BF to my queue. Okay. Historical data is loaded. Okay. Compress చేయలే ఏం కొట్టను. Next what? And I want all, right? So నేను date this same, all deltas will come. ఏం చేయాలి, మళ్ళీ ఆర్ఎస్ కూడా రిఫ్రెష్ చేయాలి అంతే. So loaded. Yeah, you have all the movements. Green angle, done. So did I do compression first? So what is my current stock value? Kaga formula. Current stock value is equal to marker value plus uncompressed. Marker value emundi? When you have not compressed, you have not set up any marker. So marker is 0. And plus stock from the uncompressed. And all my requests are uncompressed? No lekke. Out at lekke suppose. 160 minus 105. Ante. 160 minus 105 will give you what? Antena? 55. నీకు స్లో ఫాస్ట్ ఎందుకు ఉండే 10 రికార్డులు కూడా నీకు కనపడలేదు. There's only one metal, one plant, and with some 5 to 6 records, you don't really get to see the difference. Imagine you will have, say, 1,50,000 materials, okay, in 5, let's say, 20 plants. In all plants, my metal existing. 1,50,000 into 20, so it becomes what? Something around 25 lakh metal plant combinations. Each one having some millions of movements every day. Imagine for 7 years. As part of Indian government, they will hold the stock validations for 7 years have to be maintained minimum. Delete cheyadaniki ledu. 20 lakhs into let's say each day 1 lakh. Okay, and then into 7 years. Imagine. No, like it will not be so simple. You do aggregate. When you fire to see the content, it will be going for dump. You cannot handle such huge data also. So now my question is, my request is to just to see current stock value. In that case, why should I consume so many millions? Then give me result, because it's all the stock. While loading transformations, you're not feeding stock. You're only feeding inflow outflow. At the runtime of the query, my stock has to get calculated by adding inflow and deducting outflow. That's the requirement. But when you have huge amount of data records, it is going to take a lot of time to get that. So what we do, we'll compress the cube. When you compress it, we're going to combine the records. If same metal, same plant, we're going to combine the records. When doing it, why don't we update the marker value and keep it ready, so that when it wants the stock value, straight away takes marker and goes. And when you want on a given day, then it takes a marker. We go from first day, but system can go from bottom. That's. Did you understand this? Instance stock you will not get to see in the queue. My own gun. Okay, Navas? You got this? The scenario but further Valadantlo inventor cube, they have loaded they have not used BX at all. They have used only BF. They did init and delta. How I did? I just loaded init historical data and then delta loads. That's it. They have not done compression at all.
Historical data means markup value calculate చేసుకుంటారు.
చేయలేదు అందుకే చెప్తున్నా, వాళ్ళు చేయలేదు. బట్ స్టిల్ దే ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ ద రిపోర్ట్స్. ఏం పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ డౌన్ ఉంటుంది అంతే. చూడు ఈయన రైట్, ఓకే, అర్థమైందా? నౌ ఆఫ్టర్ 7 years అంటే 5 years అయిపోయింది, ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి గుర్తొచ్చింది కంప్రెషన్ చేయలేదే మనము. నౌ దే ఫెల్ట్ ది పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ బికాస్ దే ఆర్ అప్గ్రేడింగ్ ఇట్ టు హనా. హనాకు పోతే ఖచ్చితంగా ఇది కంప్రెస్ చేసే తీరాలి 100% అన్నమాట. యూ హ్యావ్ టు కంప్రెస్ ద ఇన్వెంటరీ క్యూబ్స్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ హనా. ఓకే, సో నౌ హౌ షుడ్ ఐ కంప్రెస్? Already they have loaded, I have loaded historical data, I have loaded, keep on loading delta loads every day. Now I would like to compress. Now should I compress them with marker, without marker? I loaded from January to June, I loaded those transactions as historical. Then August, September, I loaded them as delta. Now I have got all the movements in the queue. Now September, on October 1st, I have decided to compress my cube. Till now I have not compressed. I did not feel the pain of the performance. Now I felt the pain of performance. I decided to compress. Eppudu? On October 1st. And my cube has got all the movements from January to September 30th. On October 1st, I have decided to compress. Now should I compress with marker, without marker? What should I do?
Checkbox enable చేయడం compress చేస్తే
అదే అట్లా మాట్లాడద్దు. చెక్ బాక్స్ ఇస్ నో మార్క్. ఇఫ్ యూ సెలెక్ట్ ది చెక్ బాక్స్, నో మార్కర్ ఇస్ అప్డేటెడ్. ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ సెలెక్ట్, ద మార్కర్ ఇస్ అప్డేట్. నౌ వాట్ యూ వాంట్? కావాలన్నా మొత్తం అన్నింటి అప్డేట్ చేస్తావు. విల్ కంప్రెస్ ఆల్ ది రిక్వెస్ట్ విత్ మార్కర్ ఓన్లీ? ఎట్లా తెలుస్తుంది నీకు హిస్టారికల్ అని? ఏది హిస్టారికల్ అంటే ఏందన్న? వాట్ డూ యూ మీన్ బై హిస్టారికల్? You should understand historical transaction is when you started loading it to BW. Okay, you start loading it in July. So all the transactions what you loaded before July, what you will do? Historical. You will compress them with marker, without marker. Marker just same aitadappa. Marker will affect it. No marker and marker will affect it. In the previous case, when I loaded initial stock with BX, it updated marker. Then historical movements I did not update marker because historical records constituted initial stock, so I did not want to affect both. But now I don't have BX data at all. I only have BF data, which is historical transaction and delta. Should all this go and affect my marker or not?
Yes.
Simple. In the previous case, I loaded initial stock with BX. It has updated my marker. Then I loaded historical transactions, which actually resulted in my initial stock. If I update my marker again, will that become double?
Yes.
Based on the historical transactions, I generated my initial stock with BX and I updated my marker. Why should I again load my historical transactions and update my marker, which will become double? Was because my calculation of initial stock was a result of historical transactions only, right? But in this case, I don't have initial stock at all. BX is not loaded. I have just loaded only BF, historical transactions and delta transactions. Now, should all this go and update my marker? Will it be fine? There is nothing double. Initial stock ledu. All movements I've got. Let all movements go and update my marker and set my value as 55 was. And from then onwards, whatever the new records I load, I'll consider them as delta. If I'm compressing today, whatever the data which is already loaded, I'll treat them as what? Today is the date when I'm starting it up initializing, so I'll consider all the movements compressibles. Then that will set the marker, and what are the records you load from then on, that will be considered as delta. You'll be compressing with what? Marker again. Correct logic, but if you hold this logic out, yeah. Yesterday there was an interview, and I said I was involved in inventory. She asked me what is marker. Okate మాట. ఎవరికైనా కూడా if you say in interview, say you want an inventory, one mind గిలి బట్టి what is marker. అదే క్వశ్చన్, వేరే క్వశ్చన్ ఉంటుంది. What is marker? So when we say marker, we use marker update to update my stock. Instance marker value. If I say no marker update, that will not affect the movements which I am compressing, will not affect my marker value. Generally, when you load initial stock with BX and you compress with marker. Historical movements which have already resulted in initial stock will be compressed without marker by selecting the checkbox. And all the delta movements you keep updating the marker. Next question, if I don't compress anything problem? No issues. Even if you don't compress, it will still bring. Why? Because the current stock value formula is marker value plus uncompressed request. Then when you have not compressed it, you are not setting up the marker value. Marker value will be 0. It will consider all the requests which are uncompressed. It will take inflow minus outflow. Will give you the stock. Getting this? Okay. Same thing. If it is a real-time scenario, what do they do? Yeah. Same itla implementation. It depends on case by case. So you'll have an inventory queue. So you'll have a cube. Basically you'll use 0 IC underscore C03 is my cube use, and you'll use 3 data sources. One is BX, BF, UM. BX is what? You'll have that initial stock. BF is what? Movements. And if you do init load, historical movements. Delta movements. And UM is for revaluations. Then the cube, I just took cube with one stock. But if you look at the real cube, you'll have different types of stocks like block stock, unblock stock. Block stock and only inflow for block stock, outflow for block stock, block stock. Inflow for unblock stock, outflow for unblock stock, unblock stock. Getting this? Restricted inflow for restricted stock, outflow for unrestricted stock, restricted stock. Atla annitiki మూడు ఉంటాయన్నమాట. And revaluations, and this you will also have stock called valuated stocks అని ఉంటుంది. అంటే value of the stocks. So actually BF will give you quantities as well as values also, value of the stocks also. Then what does UM do ante, if there are any changes in the valuations of the stock from the finance department in the finance model, then those changes will come through UM revaluations. Value and the stock both will be coming from from purchasing inventory, BF. But let's say in the purchasing department you validated that as, and we took that as at 8 rupees. But when I'm paying the money, I took some discount of 1 rupee, then the value is what? 7. Minus 1 into the minus 1 comes from the UM. Okay, boss? And all this will go into Q. So BX you load only once in lifetime to the day when you initialize it to BW, that is initial stock, and you'll compress it with marker. Then historical movements of unit load of BF you'll load, and if you want to do report, you load this only if you want to do report with historical. If they say I don't want historical, you'll see init without data transfer, no data comes in. And what is historical data you load it, you'll compress it with what? Without marker. So already initial stock is updated. Then delta movements you load and keep updating the marker every day. And revaluations comes up. If you don't compress, what will happen? Nothing happens. Performance is affected. That's it. This is the concept. ఇప్పుడు దీన్ని బట్టి నువ్వు ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్ చదివిన స్టార్ట్ చేసినారా? అర్థమవుతుంది లైట్గా దీన్ని బట్టి? గుడ్, ఎక్సలెంట్. యూ ఆస్క్ మీ ఫర్ స్టాండర్డ్ కీప్ దర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ రొటీన్స్. ఎందుకు వై దర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ రొటీన్స్ అంటే ఐ టోల్డ్ హియర్ ఐ టుక్ సింగిల్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ స్టాక్ and I took single movement type 101, 102. So what I've done, if movement type is so and so, I did like this. Nipna em ante whatever stock I'm dealing, I'll have 2 types of stocks ane. I'll put one more indicator saying in this Excel. I'll put one more saying stock type. I'll say stock type. K V K V R. KVV పెట్టిన నేనేమంటానంటే కే లెట్స్ సే ఇది కేనే స్టాక్ నాకు 2 టైప్ ఉన్నాయి. వేరెవర్ మై స్టాక్ టైప్ ఇస్ కే, దట్ ఈస్ అన్రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ స్టాక్. వి ఉండేది రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ స్టాక్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు నీ క్యూబ్లో ఇలా లైక్ దిస్: ఇన్ఫ్లో రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్, అవుట్ఫ్లో రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్, రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ స్టాక్. ఇన్ఫ్లో అన్రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్, అవుట్ఫ్లో అన్రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్, అన్రెస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ స్టాక్. So you'll have to write routines to feed inflow for restricted, inflow for unrestricted, outflow for restricted, outflow for unrestricted. I'll say if movement type is 101 and stock type is K, then quantity. If movement type is 102, stock type is K, that is for outflow for unrestricted. Again for V I am going to indicate for restricted. I write my routines with movement type, stock category batti వేరే than రాస్తారు. And one more thing, if you see, instead of using movement type, they use a field called process key. Movement types in ECC are referred as process keys in update rules. A movement type 101, 102, 105, 6 to 7 movement keys. And we'll have very big if condition. If stock type is so and so, if stock category is so and so, if process keys are so and so, then quantity is this. And ultimately, it's all that. So they use process keys which are movement type. They use stock type, stock category to identify whether it is restricted stock, unrestricted stock, block stock, unblocked stock, valuated stocks, scrap, wastage, out of specification. Chala type of stocks ఉంటాయి. ఒక్కో type of stock. See, whether it is inflow or outflow, based on the process keys will identify. There will be many numbers. But what type of inflow is it? Whether restricted stock, block stock, unblocked, we'll have use stock type, stock category, whatever they'll write down. That's why. But from the source, you'll be getting only stock type field, stock category, movement types, and quantities. In the update rules, I'll let it split up. So in an inverter cube, you will see every key we're getting with the routine itself. Because I just need to take stock type, stock category, process keys, and what quantities. Based on that, I should derive right and if condition. Only routines. Because from the source, you'll just get quantity. In the rules, I must define whether this quantity is an inflow, outflow of what stock type it is. That's fine. That's what you've seen. Yeah. So try implementing this. Try to use a document. Try to load. While you're loading, don't try to load huge data from the menu from the ECC. Try to pick one metal from the metal button. Try to load for that metal and then observe the results. Compare the value whether stock coming fine or not. And in the ECC, if you want to see original movements, you will find them in MSEG. MSEG is a table where you will see all the movements, actual movements in the purchasing. Okay. And there's one T code where you can see stock report, MNBH or MC. First you save JSON.